So I'm Tessa Brock. I got into nursing straight out of high school.
My name's Megan. I got into healthcare. My mom is a nurse and my parents have both worked in healthcare since I was small.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started watching our first clip.
Okay.
All right, what do we got here?
Ready?
Okay,
nice.
You can pause. So in the ER, generally our first thing is that we provide privacy. So I know that's not great for like cameras and for the movies, but usually we would be in a room or a curtain pulled, yeah. Usually, I mean, curtain pulling isn't as common. They will use an actual physical room first so that you can shut the door and have the privacy, but
For the sake of their triage, a curtain would have been pulled.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stitch you up. We're also gonna need serum tox with an alcohol level.
Yep.
We were not drinking.
That's why it reeks like beer in here. What's your name?
Well, what's yours? Did you want to have dinner with me sometime?
His name's Brett. He got hit in the head with a lacrosse stick.
All right, Brett. Follow my finger. So you guys like to play lacrosse at night? Open your mouth.
No, it's actually pledge week, so we... Wait, dude, that's not gonna hurt my chances, right?
Dude, shut up. Take a vow.
You took a head wound to get into a frat?
I'm already in. I just got a backspring by accident.
I definitely would have taken that hit if it meant I'd get it.
You geniuses do realize that even a minor head wound can be dangerous, especially when combined with drugs and or alcohol.
I told you.
okay, you can pause
We weren't
it.
drinking.
So I feel like she mommed him hard and I think that was okay. Are you good with that?
I am that nurse, so yeah.
I would say that's very appropriate.
We're a holistic frat. No booze, no drugs. We even meditate.
Well, you seem very enlightened. I'll be back. All right, field trip's over. If you vomit, come back. If you're dizzy, come back. No alcohol. And no sports. You
Pause. So I feel like she looked at him and his appearance completely changed from her initial contact with this
Oh
one.
boy, yeah.
Yes. Like now his eyes he has dark circles around his eyes. They're sunken in. He looks a little clammy. I feel like I probably would have turned my attention to him and said, "Are you feeling okay?"
He suddenly has a 5 o'clock shadow also.
Well, yeah, like I'm like his whole appearance
Looks different.
completely changed. And as a nurse, like you pick up on those things when you're in the room with families. You're starting to look a little pale. Are you feeling okay? Do you need some water? So I feel like in a real life situation, she would have picked up on that at that point when she was walking back in the room and he is looking completely wrong.
You think you can help him stick to that? Ethan, you with me, buddy? Ethan? Ethan?
Ethan, you okay?
What'd he take, Brett?
Ow!
I need help over here! Doesn't have a pulse. We have to get him to trauma. 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so we would never, ever be like, oh, hey, we're doing compressions, but let's go take him to a new room.
Let's do 5 and throw him on a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to like surgery, but that's not what's happening.
What's the thing called that they have now? The big, and it gives the compressions.
Oh, yes.
What's it called?
I don't know. I can't remember.
The Compressionator 3000.
Yes.
I can't think of the name of it, but it's a ginormous machine, like as big as a mini fridge, and they put it on patients now to give the
They've made
compressions.
it smaller now.
Yeah.
They've even smaller versions.
do they?
EMS has them.
Yeah.
And they auto compress the person.
You can put that on them, and it gives the compressions while you're trying to get them all together. But we would have never picked a patient up that high and put him on the bed. There would have been like a backboard slit underneath him, and then a pull, the bed's being all the way low, and then you kind of slip them over and you continue
I mean, we
compression.
would have had to have a backboard underneath there because that's a bed, right? Well,
Yeah, well, because those are like the OR beds, so they really don't have like the where you can pull for CPR thing. You have to throw a backboard underneath it.
What did he take, Brett?
I don't know, I swear.
We have a cardiac arrest! Claire, call out water.
okay, you can pause. Those compressions are what we were looking for on the last one.
Yes, those are good.
Those are good ones.
That is a mannequin at this
Yes.
point. The way his chest is compressing, that is a mannequin.
Trauma? We need Atwater, we need LeBlanc. We need a talk stream, but only on the injured one. Let's get a line going. Sheppy, let me know when you gotta read. Pulse check. He's in V-fib, we need to defibrillate. V-fib, 200 joules. Brett, what did he take? Charging, pads on? Ready. Everyone clear? Resume compressions.
You can pause. Okay, this one is way better than the other.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty decent code.
Yeah.
For TV.
Each person has their own job, they're doing their thing. I mean, they even rotated compressors, right?
They tried to. He was in his zone.
That's right. Yeah. This one's way better than the others. There must be a doctor on staff or nurse.
Brett, what did he take?
It wasn't dangerous.
One hand, Beppy. Whatever it was, he did it to impress you, all right? So if you don't tell us now, Ethan's gonna die.
Soy sauce. He drank soy sauce. You make all the new pledges, dude. If
Okay,
they don't,
pause.
they get the...
I just have a comment that even though things seem harmless,
Yes.
everything in excess can be bad for you. You know, we think about excess sugar causes diabetes, but we don't think about like salt and potassium.
Or even water.
Even water, you can have water toxicity. Like
Yep.
you can, especially if you're dehydrated and you chug water, your body will get water toxicity.
There was a frat boy that died from, they made him drink like a full thing of water. It was like multiple gallons in a short period of time and he died.
You just waterlog yourself and die. So it's important not to understand what you're doing in order to keep yourself safe, number one. And you think about that sodium is salt, right? And so if you put so much salt in your body, it's going to dehydrate you because there's going to be more salt on the outside of your cells than the inside. And you think of osmosis, your water is going to move towards that salt in order to dilute it and make everything equal. So it is pulling the water from all of his organs and all of his cells and essentially dehydrating him to the point that he passes out, to the point that it messes up his electrical activity, because all of those minerals are needed to keep your electrical activity working properly. And he had said, oh yeah, we were drinking alcohol, we were drinking soy sauce, they could have started him on a saline drip or D5 or some kind of drip to equal those out before he passed out. When I did intakes, like when I worked pre-op, I would ask people, do you do drugs? Cocaine, marijuana, ecstasy. And some people would just kind of look at me and I'm like, I don't care what you take. I just need to know what you've taken because it will mess with your anesthesia. And so then they'd be like, I smoke marijuana. Okay, when's the last time you smoked? Yesterday, today, this morning, when? Yes, last night. Okay, great. We just have to know because all drugs interact in a certain way. And I think people are scared to tell their healthcare providers thing, like we're gonna call the police. Honestly, I just tell them, hey, I don't care what you do in your free time, but I gotta know so that I can give you the appropriate treatment. And so a lot of people would ask, are you a drug user? And I would just say, have you used any cocaine, marijuana, or ecstasy or methamphetamine in the last 72 hours? Mm-hmm. And I started getting better responses by just asking that way than asking, have you used any drugs?
Mm-hmm. That feels shameful.
Yeah. So the way that you ask questions is important too, because in the beginning, if she would have said, well, what else? Kind of like, so tell me more about what you guys, or your initiation process.
Those are my famous words.
Yeah,
Can you tell me more about that?
Loves to tell me more. But you making people feel comfortable in divulging their information is, if she would have shown just a little bit of interest outside of her judgment, she probably would have gotten more information to that. Yeah, we were drinking alcohol. We also, they were kind of laughing jokey. We also make them drink a bottle of soy sauce. It probably would have triggered her to say, okay, alcohol is dehydrating, soy sauce is dehydrating. How much soy sauce did you drink? And put in an intervention so that this didn't happen.
She would have been more of a person. And that's what I think can be kind of hard. And then what I try to teach the students is like, you have to stay curious. It is so important that you stay curious, because the moment you flip over into judging, that's when you are rude, you are not kind, and you also don't get good information, like with the drugs and alcohol. Whenever I ask, I'm like, okay, tell me more about why you did that, or what else is in it, or how, you know, you just ask the questions, they'll tell you more. Like if she would have been more friendly to them and said like, okay, so you guys drank alcohol and you use these lacrosse sticks to hit each other, like, can you tell me more about what happened tonight? Like, how did you end up here? They'd probably say something like, yeah, we took soy sauce shots and then we did this, 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 and this. And then I'd say, oh, okay, we need to do some work here with our fluid electrolyte balances.
So everything sends off triggers in our brains. Like, oh, that connects here, here, and here. Maybe you need to get checked out too. They probably would have done a metabolic panel and saw that his sodium was through the roof.
I mean, if we found out that someone drank an entire bottle of hot sauce, soy sauce, any of that stuff, we'd be like, okay, you're now a patient.
Hey, Sister.
Does anyone have any other suggestions on how to save this patient?
Time, Dr. Curtis.
Time of death, 4:17 a.m.
What?
That's a real thing that does happen, because when you're in the moment, sometimes you skip over things that could help. I mean, your mind goes 1,000 miles a minute. And so you're like, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. I mean, even now, like when we're at clinical, there's times that Megan's like, oh, you should have, I'm like telling her what happened. She's like, oh, you should have had him do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I didn't even think about that. You know, so different perspectives in healthcare can make a big difference. That's why a lot of people get second and third opinions, because even if you have two doctors that specialize in the same thing, perspective is everything. And sometimes what your patient tells one doctor is not the same, or they add more to it than what they tell somebody else. So I'm always like, talk to the people on the healthcare team, because then you paint a full picture. Ask the same question 3 different ways, and I promise you'll get 3 different answers, and you'll have more and more and more information.
Yeah, I really like that. I work in labor and delivery, and so with babies, that doesn't happen. But I feel like if I were to evaluate a code, that would be a really cool thing, that if the provider would say something like that, because what if we had like cardiac tamponade, which would be the heart filling up with blood? Well, one of the answers to that is to aspirate the blood from around the heart. So maybe, I mean, that's not this situation.
So I have a psych background. So when we would put overly aggressive and combative patients in isolation, once they come out of isolation, you have to have a debrief, not only with the staff, but with the patient as well. And you kind of say that, what could have been done differently? What things can we provide you to help you cope with however you're feeling or whatever is going on? Now, some of the patients, they're just like, nothing, no one, I hate everyone. And sometimes they're like, well, what really triggered me was she kept trying to make me wear a blue shirt today, and I don't want to wear the blue shirt, and nobody was listening to me. And that's how I felt in that moment. Even though they may have given 7 options, all of them were blue, and that just wasn't. I mean, sometimes it's something very little.
It's not possible,
Yeah, and sometimes it's something that is possible, and you can make those changes. So debriefing after every situation, if you will, that occurs. I mean, there's a lot of times anywhere I've worked, and I'm like, what could I have done? Like, what could I have changed? In that moment, I didn't know. I thought I did everything I could. And then, so again, that's where perspective is everything.
What would you say to someone who's interested in healthcare?
So I was actually thinking about this on my way to work today, that I am the one out of my peers that loves my job. By getting this degree, by having my nursing degree, I get to wake up every day and be a part of somebody else's life and impact them in such a cool way.
And I think that there's so many different aspects of healthcare. So even if a 12-hour shift on the floor taking care of 7 or 8 patients isn't your jam, there's always something for somebody.
Look at us now, we're teaching.
We're teaching. There are nursing positions where you can work from home. You can work in a Fortune 500 company as an occupational health nurse, or you can get down and dirty in the ER.
But like working in healthcare, you really get to make a difference.
Thanks for watching. A big thank you to Tessa and Megan for coming out today and sharing their expertise. Nurses make a big difference in our lives, and nursing is in high demand right now. Being a nurse, you can make about $60,000 starting out, and it can definitely go up from there. And if you want to learn more about nursing, check out your local technical college. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and comment. YouTube Analytics says only 1% of you are subscribed right now, so make sure to hit that button, and we'll see you next time.